Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Daily Stock, in which we are going to look at the financial earnings for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024 for the Amazon, which is one of the magnificent seven companies, and it has been doing phenomenally well for last couple of quarters. In the last quarter of the last financial year, its profit has jumped manifold if we compare it in terms of year on year and even in quarter on quarter. There has been continuous growth for last couple of quarters. So all in all, it is justifying the rising valuations, and for the last year it had already seen the growth of around 70 percentage point, and on top of that there has been further jump of around 7 to 8 percentage point since the release of its quarterly earnings. That signifies the continuous belief of the investors in the possibility of further rise of the Amazon share price, and I am also sharing the same optimism despite the rally which we have seen, which has increased its valuation. I think there is scope for further growth in coming quarters, so we can be in we can be also part of this rally, and for that all we have to do is look for favorable opportunities in which we have a profit and loss risk reward in such a way that if we happen to be on the wrong side, we shouldn't be losing too much money, and if we indeed get it right, we should be on a winning spree. We should be making and raking in lot of mullah. If we consider the fine prints of these quarter's earnings, the net sales rose 14 percentage point to US dollar 170 billion, which is a huge number, but it is higher for the Amazon, particularly because it is a retailer, and for the retailer in the revenues, all the cost and the price of goods sold is considered as revenue, and as a result of that this figure is arrived. Otherwise, if we consider the revenue of the other tech giants like Apple, and the operating margin, the net profit margin is on the better side. Important segments, the North America, they have seen the growth in terms of year on year, 13%, 17%, and 13% respectively. And if you look at the operating income, there is only one segment which is incurring the loss, but otherwise that loss is being recovered by other two segments, and not only recovered but in a significant way it is being bolstered with this profit of almost $10 billion coming in from these other sources, and we have this net income of 6 billion for the fourth quarter, which is amounting to US dollar 1 per share. And if we compare it to the earnings a year back, which was quite low at US dollar 0.3 billion, you can see that the earnings have grown almost more than 30-fold. So this is a significant jump in the profitability. But for that, the company has taken significant measures. Some initiatives were taken to cut cost and at the same time increase revenues. So now the impact of those measures is being felt with these rising income and equally lofty valuations which are rising further. The AWS remains the most profitable segment for the company, though it brings in around a quarter of the revenues, but it contributes to more than half of the profit, the operating profit as well as net profit, because it enjoys quite a lot better operating margin. In the retail side of the business, the margins are wafer thin, and even on these quite humongous revenue numbers, the net income is not that much. Now let us look at the cash flow statement to assess how the company is spending all the money it is generating. So we straight away go to the cash flow statement. In it, you can see that from the operating activities, it has brought in $10.6 billion, and of that, it has decided to spend some on investing and financing activity. If we look at the repayment of short-term debts and other, it has spent around $6 billion, and overall, it has seen the growth in net cash, cash and cash equivalents of $73, not 73, it is actually 23.8 billion. So we have this cash pile of $73.9 billion for the Amazon. That's a lot of money, and it puts the Amazon in a commanding position to spend money wherever it can go for R&D in newer segments, newer sectors, and wait for those R&Ds to bring in revenues to turn profitable, and it won't be in any hurry. If we look at the statement of comprehensive income, you get to see how this earning has been divided in this statement, and then comes the segment information. As I said, the two segments of three are the main contributors for the net profit of the Amazon, and the AWS, which is not the largest in terms of the revenue. It is bringing in the highest of the net profit with its margin, the operating margin being quite high. So that is the key reason why the AWS is a big money maker for the Amazon. The North American market is also bringing in quite a good amount of net profit on the back of US dollar 105 billion revenue. Has been able to generate US dollar 6.4 billion of net profit. And if we consider the international segment, it is still in the loss, but maybe in coming quarters we will see it turning the page and getting profitable. Now it's time for us to turn our attention to the technical side of the story, see how things are shaping up for the Amazon share price since the release of its quarterly earnings. And not only since the report, but we can go back in time and see for last couple of months, last couple of quarters, how things have been. And in last couple of quarters, the things have been all bullish. It has been of further jump on the higher side, and it might go and touch the price levels of 180 and beyond that in the short term. So that is the possibility, but for that to materialize, we will have to be patient and allow the consolidation to happen, and only if after due consolidation it feels and looks promising, we can go for the further investment and trade in this stock on the bullish side. But if it declines, then I think that will signal the change of course in the short term. So pay attention to how things shape up, and after this gap in the valuation of the Amazon, and with this jump, the company's market value is now nearing US dollar 2 trillion, which is going to be a significant achievement for the Amazon if it indeed goes and touches that mark. Way back in 2022, in its prior rally, it had gone quite close to that, and even after this rally, we have seen that it is yet to reclaim its prior peak. Other tech companies like Amazon, sorry, not Amazon, the Apple and the Microsoft have been making newer peaks, but for Amazon, we will have to wait for it to see newer peaks being scaled. So if you are a trader investor, I think the possibility of Amazon also making newer peak is there, and we will have to position ourselves for profiting from such a outcome. And of course, the criterion is always simple, which is to simply look for a good risk reward ratio. So, in the eventuality of we being wrong, we shouldn't be losing too much money. So on that front, I feel that straight away jumping in and buying the Amazon stock is not really likely to do us any good because it is already sitting on quite a lofty valuation. But it is not advisable to go for a short sale trade either. Here also, I feel that a couple of quarters are required for the stock to bring us more clarity after the consolidation. So if you are a medium term investor as well, if you are a swing trader, even in that scenario, I feel that we will have to adopt a wait and watch approach with the bullish momentum. I feel that we should be keep looking for the opportunities to buy as and when it consolidates and starts to show the signs of possibility of starting a new rally again. From the long-term perspective, it is seemingly en route to the prior peak, which was achieved in the second half of 2020 first, and after that, in the most part of 2022, it continuously declined, and after taking some measures to improve its profitability, it started to rise again. And for the better part of 2023, it has been continuously rallying upward. So I am quite confident that the prior peak of 188.6 is likely to be scaled again, and in that kind of a scenario, it remains keep looking for the opportunity to buy and invest in this rally. And here the price area around 140 to 150 is going to be a good choice if there is a correction in coming months, and after correction due consolidation will also be needed. So from the longer term perspective, here after a new peak has already been made, we should wait for consolidation and correction, and as and when a newer low is being formed with it being a higher low, we can be fairly confident of the possibility of Amazon starting to rally again and eventually make a newer peak towards the 200 or maybe even